Hey guys, welcome to a annoyingly another new What If. And this is What If Naruto was raised by dragons, part 1. And yeah, I pretty much did a poll yesterday to see what you guys just wanted, and like I had, I think, three What Ifs that were on the channel. One or two of them that people had asked for to either continue or that, and yeah, one of them I think I slightly wanted to continue, and then this one which popped into my mind because why not? And yep. Anyway, with that, let's get into this. So, though in the Shinobi world there were legend stories, children books about dragons and how somewhat though they were just simply myths and that. Yet only one person knew those myths, those legends, well, they were all true. And this person was none other than Hiruzen Saitobi, the third Hokage. He'd seen them quite, not often, but generally every 2 to 3 years he'll spot a dragon or so, and this very night he would also spot one, and an idea would pop into his head that where it would currently be, and that, well, currently it'd be late at night. The village was somewhat in chaos, though the chaos was going down, though this night and tomorrow will be a long one. Why? Well, because the fourth Hokage, who had been enacted just about 9 months ago, had sacrificed his own life to summon the Shinigami and seal away the nine-tailed fox into his newly born child. And yeah, but what about the mother? Well, she'd also died. She had died on the battlefield, saving her child from being impaled by the Nine-Tails' nail. And yeah, could she have survived the Nine-Tails extraction, as she was its previous Jinchuriki, or human sacrifice? And while that is unknown, she could have done. Uzumakis are known to be able to, but could she have lived to see a day, a month, a year, a century, maybe even more? We'll never know. Though the Third would know that if he were to tell his council, or in other words, the three elders and the shinobi head, that one of them it would eventually leak out. It was common sense, really. Of course, a secret would eventually get out. No matter how strict you are, it will eventually get out. It's just when and where. And yeah. And while this would potentially somewhat semi-solve the issue, or at least solve it to the point in which the child himself would want it to be revealed. But that's if the dragons want to. He'd kind of been, or at least with the somewhat dragons and the dragon clan, he'd been kind of designated as a safe human, a human in which the dragons can freely talk to without any repercussions. And they did, anytime he'd someone talk to one, they'd told him that they were kind of looking for a potential kind of human that kind of would somewhat be kind of strong in that, and also kind of, somewhat one to one to be strong, to become a somewhat legend, somewhat a legend, and what best, and but also for the child to know, for the person to not only just be strong, but also to be kind, caring, loving, and also humble. And here's and think, well, what better yet than for this child, Naruto Uzumaki, to go with the dragon to be raised up until maybe 8 roughly years, because that would then give him 4 years in the human world and the Shinobi Academy to adjust to some of his surroundings and to potentially make some friends. And yeah, so he'd tell his Anbu on that to somewhat leave him for the sort of moment, as though they would somewhat just nod as they would go to the over to the Hokage Tower, as Hiruzen would, though the medic nin would though the Anbu would also, or at least the Anbu medic nin would take both Minato and Kushina's body, Minato being the 4th Hokage, bodies, and they were to be burned. And yeah, from there though, he'd walk over to the dragon with the baby asleep. The dragon would be somewhat surprised though. Hiruzen would do some hand signs to indicate that he was the trusted human, as it was a dragon that from his own memories, he hadn't seen, though it was only a small one. Like the child itself, it was somewhat as potentially as long as the baby, but yeah, though go over it and he'd ask, he'd go somewhat hi there, as he'd go as the jungle, hi, you're the trusted human. Yes, I'm Hiruzen Sarutobi. This newborn here is Naruto. The jungle would just nod and go, the new Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Hiruzen would just nod as it go, well, I've heard your somewhat lead has been looking for a human that is or would become strong, but also is humble, and that, and well, somewhat for if your leader is willing to I would be somewhat happy to hand over Naruto to use for a given amount of time, preferably 8 or so years, so that he can grow and learn from use, and that. The small dragon go, I would have to ask him. Though he was going to just nod and go, it's fine, you can tell me somewhat tomorrow of that. Just come to the somewhat somewhat tower soon. Yeah. And from there, and he would just nod, and from there, he'd dispel his and would someone get up and would then sunshine over to the tower. He'd call in one of his Anbu, as his Anbu would somewhat walk in, as he'd go, though somewhat, is there anyone in the Anbu forces currently unavailable for Anbu duty due to having a child, per se, a newborn child within a couple of weeks to a month, and would be willing to somewhat potentially raise the child for a week max. The Amber would look at one of us, they'd state we'd have to ask around Hokage-sama to go do that. And yeah, though one of them got, and also Hokage-sama, the council has is somewhat called as his image. I figured one of you stay here and look after him. You're not going to take him in Hokage-sama, no. And this child is an S rank, double S rank secret. And as you say, and you will be killed. Got it. Hi. They'd all say in unison, knowing what the child held, and they felt pity. They knew it'd be somewhat pity was useless and that, but they did feel pity. They felt sorry for the child to hold back, but they also they held some amount of respect for the child. And yeah, so the Ambu would take the child from the third as he would somewhat crack his back as the other three would be dismissed to go and look around for a potential Ambu that would be willing to potentially take in Naruto for somewhat around about a week, hopefully. And yeah, because it could take a week for the dragons to come up with a decision, potentially. If potentially longer, then he would have to be put into the orphanage as well. Yeah. And yeah, from there he would walk into the council room, and all hell will pretty much would be loose from, well yeah, though, well at least would seemingly be going on something about, though the second they'd walk in, they'd flare his chakra, let out his killing intent, everyone would, all the shinobi would pretty much shut up and pale. A third was clearly not in the mood for this. And yeah, though he'd sit down as he'd go, now then, why have you called this? Oh, well, the nine tails, Kage-sama, so it's been dealt with. You can tell, and why on earth would you do one so late now? Do you have nothing better to do, nothing about your clans you'd somewhat want to check on, potentially start having people rebuild? Clearly any of you have got a mind, right? Someone granted, the only clan that wasn't there was the Nara clan. The Nara clan, some of the smartest, as they were currently they were currently somewhat kind of sleeping, deciding to talk with the Hokage in the morning. And well, yeah, the head was the kind of head of the overall shinobi forces, or at least the Jonin, Chunin, and somewhat Genin. Though the Jonin are generally in force, the Jonin are in force with the Genin, so it's really the Jonin commander is only really the Jonin, and Chunin he really deals with the Genin, no doubt, by their Jonin senseis or commanders. And yeah, anyway, and yeah, I would go for now. Just go to sleep. We'll talk about this in the morning. I'm tired. I ache. And above all else, we've lost the fourth. So there'll be a village-wide memorial in at least 3 days. Got that? Hi. They'd all say as you'd go now, dismissed. His chakra is his contents all very much high as they would start filing out. Though the elders would stay as you'd go. I've told you be dismissed, whereas the I don't want to hear it Donzo now dismissed. Told you so, I'll talk about this in the morning. Though if you really want to know, I'll be more than happy to kill you right on the spot. They'd kind of look at him and they'd somewhat, and the two elders would kind of step back a bit as one would go, you mean it's, of course it's dead, it's fourth Kage. He sealed it inside of himself, taking it to his grave. Here's a weird lie. And they'd go, don't be stupid, it would reform it would only reform in 9 years. Yes, if it was a normal seal, but if it's a Shinigami, well then, they would go somewhat wide as a dead gulp. The Shinigami bound whatever to somewhat whatever. So the Nine Tails was bound for eternity to pretty much the fourth in their minds. They'd realise the Nine Tails would never ever reform. It was dead for eternity. The fourth would, the only time the Nine Tails would ever potentially be reformed was if the fourth was somehow resurrected. But even then, it would have to kind of hand over the Nine Tails to a new Jinchuriki, to a new person, making them a new Jinchuriki. Though of course that was only a lie. Well, to Husen it was a lie, but to Unknown it was a semi-lie. Whilst the fourth Minato did indeed seal the Nine Tails inside of himself, he only sealed half of it, the other half inside of his child. Smart move or not? Who knows? But anyway, though, and so the next day would come on by as Hosen would be already sitting in his office while now his somewhat office, whilst he had indeed gone back to sleep that very night, he'd made a shadow clone to clean up the office. Yeah, though one thing he knew for sure was that his wife was also dead. And yeah. Anyway, though, he'd just be kind of sitting there looking up at the fourth's portrait as you'd go, why? Why? I should have been the one to sacrifice myself. I'm too old for this, Minato. You should be here raising your child, and yet you leave him. I just hope it was the right. I just hope you chose right, Minato. Yeah. Naruto was with an Anbu currently. Though his Anbu were also, or at least all four of them were outside his office, as Hiruzen would just be somewhat laying back after stamping some papers, as you'd hear a tap at the window, then another tap, and more taps, as he'd look out the window, as he'd go, though he'd probably side out of somewhat the another window, as he'd somewhat go, come through this window. The object would just simply walk on over and walk in, as it state. They have agreed to our leader has agreed to taking the child Naruto Uzumaki. And yeah, Hizume somewhat just nod as it go as okay, as the small giant then state, but we'll need a decently somewhat large place, as we'll have to summon a dragon somewhat yeah, and you'll also have to discuss sometimes with somewhat his dragon somewhat dragon parents. Who's gonna just nod as he'd pop his somewhat head out as he'd go, Anbu, one of you's go get Naruto Uzumaki. The Anbu would just somewhat nod and go, and before you just go, once I have him, I'll be disappearing to a far out training ground. Do not bother. If anyone tries coming in, prevent them. If they want to cancel, have it formed, but tell them I'll be a while. Got it? Hi. They would state. And a minute or so later, and now to be brought to the there'd be a knock at the door. Hizen would take in the boy, and he would then shut the door, walk over as the small dragon, and then jump onto his shoulder as he would then disappear in a puff of smoke. This being a Shunshin, a speed-based jutsu. Yeah. And Hizen would try to reappear in a swirl of leaves some distance out to a relatively somewhat not really abandoned, but a training ground that barely sees any usage these days. Though you drop from there the dragon would kind of glide down, as it then somewhat land, as it then seemingly it would then seemingly turn around and drop what it had wrapped around its tail, as it would then channel some energy into it, this energy being called chakra. That's the small object or scroll would grow to seemingly a large type scroll. From there it would then somewhat push it on open, as you then tell Fred, can you put your hand somewhat on somewhat that mark there, and though do not worry, it'll only consume about half of your chakra reserves. Here's just note that as you put a hand down on there, holding Naruto with one hand. The dragon would put his hand on the other, similarly mark, sending chakra into it, and he would immediately feel half his reserves vanish. Just half his current chakra reserves would go from full to half. And he shouldn't be slightly surprised, and then there'd be a puff of smoke as a dragon, as a voice would come up from the smoke. So I presume the leader of the village is here with the child. The small dragon would say. The smoke would clear as the human would, he wouldn't somewhat be surprised. Some of the small dragons being a trusted human meant that he did, or at least a dragon also had told him that some of the more powerful dragons can actually shapeshift and that they had a human or humanoid form. Though he said the more powerful the dragon is, the more likely they are to have a human form, not humanoid. Humanoid meaning they would have somewhat wings and a tail somewhat still behind them. And yeah, there were very few species of dragons that had a human form, the leader being one of them. And yeah, so this would be a second command, the Dragon Sage. I should go. So may I ask who you are? You should meet someone not down go. I am Hizen Santoru, the Father Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village. We are currently in a training ground. A distance away from Konoha. The channel just nod down and go, and that's the boy I and my wife will be looking after. Hi. This is Naruto Uzumaki, the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. It just nod. Is there anything else I should so no, well, I'd somewhat like him to at least be back here by around the time he's 8 years old. His date of birth you'd need. He was born on October 10th, so yesterday. It just nod. Yeah. And so, yeah, there we'd go. Though his that won't be a problem, right? As it goes. No, my wife is also very strong, and she also has a human form. Or at least she generally tends to hang about in a. She also has a human form, and yeah, there'll be no real problems for the child. He should accept her milk. He should just not. As it'd go. Right, so you'd like him back when he turns 8. Not quite, as he's in return the specific date. On which he would somewhat like Naruto return, which would be somewhat 8 years from now. Roughly about around 8 years. So from the time in which the academy somewhat, of course, like the academy graduates, go from being obviously from graduates to getting Naruto. Though there's then 1 month for everyone below. Obviously, Naruto's class would have that 1 month period, and he was inviting them back 2 weeks into that period. Yeah. The gentleman somewhat nod at that, and Hizen would also state that, or at least the people the somewhat people generally train, or at least start training in chakra control around 4 years old, though some do start at 3. Challenges nod downward, and yeah, and Hizen would also state that that when you start training him, or at least once he's got sufficient chakra control, as it got sufficient the ability to stick a leaf to his head, once he could do that, I'll then somewhat send you over the somewhat first and once he's around about 5 to 6 years old, I'll send you over the first of 3 jutsus he'll be required to learn and to be able to do flawlessly. to become a shinobi. Yeah. Though the dragon just somewhat nod. Yeah. Though the dragon would ask, though there would be no problem with him taking the dragon summoning contract, right? He's going to shake his head. No, as long as you're fine with him also gaining the toad summoning contract, as the seal on his stomach that holds back the Nine Tails has a key. That key is in the hands of the toad, the human toad, human toad sage, my student Dryer. And so for Naruto to get the key to his cell, he'll need the toad summoning contract, if that's okay with yous. The jungle, yes, there. Find that a bit. Leader's definitely a bit on the cocky side, but yes, that's fine, though. Yeah. Though we'll make sure the boy knows that he tells us when he someone get it, and we'll, yeah. Here's with nod that as you go, though by any chance will someone use need me to send like any clothes and that, and the dragon no, there's many dragons that walk around in their human or humanoid form, so we have the ability to produce clothes, and these clothes are even better than you human clothes. Here's with someone just nod, yeah. And from that you go though. So anything else? No. Isn't. I leave Naruto in your care for 8 years, and I look forward to seeing him again and seeing just how much he's grown, how much he's changed. On that, the dragon just nod, and from there you'd go, well then, I bid you a farewell, Hiruzen-san. You can just call me Hiruzen. And just nod, well, then goodbye, Hiruzen. As he'd, dispel with the, baby Naruto in his arms. And from there, 3 years would go by. It would be 3 years and 1 week since the birth of Naruto Uzumaki, the loss of the fourth Hokage, and yeah, though at the moment Naruto would be practically jumping on the spot, though he was sitting down yet he's jumping. Boy could practically, well, he could do anything he set his mind to, besides from flying, of course. He couldn't fly, though. Then again, who knows, maybe he could potentially someday somehow break the laws of nature and produce wings out of nowhere and fly. Seriously, the boy could practically do anything he set his mind to. And yeah, though the reason why he's so excited, well, because today was the day he finally somewhat gained control of his inner energy. This inner energy being known and being called chakra. And yeah, he was excited to start learning to, well, somewhat to use it. And yeah, as though his somewhat dad/adopted father would go, now, Naruto, settle down. Being excited is good, but it is also bad. Good, because it shows, of course, that you're excited, but it's bad because it'll just be that much harder to getting control of your inner energy. Understand? Hi. That. Now then. Now that you finally stop jumping, close your eyes. Feel your heartbeat. Feel it pulse. Feel as the blood flows through your veins. Feel as you feel the air as you breathe in, and once more feel the air as it breathes out, and finally focus on your chest. Feel for warmth energy inside you. Just feel warm like being cuddled by someone you care about the most. No, can you feel it? Hi, yes, hi. Feel so warm, so calming, yet so powerful. Yeah. Now then, this is where it's going to get hard. What I want you to do is pull on it and demand it to come out. Demand and pull on it as hard as you can. It is stubborn, but are you more stubborn than your chakra? It'd be stubborn, it'd be unwilling to listen. So you're gonna have to use everything you've got to demand and pull on it. Got that? Hi. And say as Naruto, somewhat entire body, would somewhat indicate that he's someone doing something, and somewhat minutes would go by as all of a sudden Shannon would go dead silent. He'd snap his head around as he'd look at somewhat look at the boy as he'd go ha, as he'd mentally think he's done it. Before his very eyes, a massive column of chakra would shoot into the air. The ground would crack and his eyes would widen as he'd go, Naruto, my boy, stop, open up your eyes and stop pulling on your chakra now. Naruto would open up his eyes, slightly startled as go, what? As the chakra would vanish, and you'd feel the boy's signature return to normal as you'd think, damn, this child Naruto, he has a lot of chakra, that's for sure. And for it to be all visible like that, and for him to not even be strained a bit, he really is a powerful one at that. Yeah, so you'd go, how? Hold on. So, the next thing we're somewhat going to do now is I want you to once again close your eyes and nod as you'd close his eyes as you'd listen to his dad as he'd go, now then Naruto, I want you to once more feel for your chakra, but not to demand anything of it or to pull on it. I want you to simply feel for it and follow it. Follow how it flows throughout your body, how it interacts with with the beating of your heart, through how it reacts with your muscles, your mind, your eyes, your lungs, every part of you. Feel for how it interacts with your body. This is a step very few people can do, as their mind can be lost within their chakra itself, though you do not have to worry. If I see that you have been lost, I will awaken you. Okay, hi. Good. And yeah, and somewhat you'd see Naruto's body slightly somewhat change, as you'd know Naruto is now within his chakra. And yeah, Naruto would follow as his chakra. He'd follow somewhat his chakra as his chakra would lead him on the journey of his body. And yeah, though minutes would go by minutes would turn to 10, then 20 as faces. Minutes would go by as a somewhat soft, somewhat voice would be heard and go, somewhat dear, I felt a large surge of chakra. So it'd go, yes. Hey there, and yeah, that was Naruto. He's awakened his chakra, he's gained control of it, or basic control. So just nod. He's got quite a lot. That is an understatement, dear. He's got more than I think you and I can think of. What do you mean? Look at the ground. Look at the ground around him. It's cracked, indeed. And that's the thing. His chakra was visible. But that'd be no. Well, it's not really impossible, but it is definitely difficult for someone to have their chakra be visible. The sheer output. So it had to be insane, and yet it was at least 30, 40, 50 foot into the sky. And yet, when his eyes opened, and when he talked, there was no strain at all, no seemingly even ounce of breathlessness, like it was only a single percentage or even less of his chakra. He's powerful then, indeed. Though then again, he's got stamina above stamina, so then again it could have hit him hard, but with his stamina, it probably didn't even bother him. Yeah. So what he's doing now, is he doing the first chakra exercise? No, he's feeling his chakra, and how it interacts with his body. You know it somewhat. I know, but he's in Uzumaki, remember? And they've got such a close connection with their chakra that I don't think there's been a report of an Uzumaki losing their mind within their chakra. And I'm doubtful it would be the first one to lose their mind inside their chakra, though if he is, it'd be understandable. Though I'd say for right now, he's reserves, from what I've could get a gauge of, is around about the likes of a normal 3-year-old Uzumaki. Though we'll know he'll easily blow through that by the time he's 8. Yeah, she just nods. So shall I tell no, not right now. I'd rather not start doing weekly or monthly updates. For right now, it's better to only tell them in some of the yearly report, which I believe is coming up in a month or so. It is. So you want me to tell someone? So you want me to tell them then? Yes. And you're doing it this time? Hi. You'll be somewhat training Naruto. I'm not the only one training him. I may be the main one training, but manners, cooking, and that. You're someone gonna have to do cooking. I can't really cook. I can hunt, but we don't really cook. And it'd go, you know what I mean. She'd just roll her eyes and she'd go, I know. And so from there, years would go by. When Naruto was 7, they'd learn about his burden and the beast within, the nine-tailed fox. Yeah. And it's something accepted that, knowing that the fourth didn't really have an option and that. And yeah, he'd also learned that, that he'd be leaving in a year to return back to the human world. And whilst he was a bit sad at that, they'd always told him that once he turns somewhat 12, that he'll once he turns somewhat 12 and becomes a shinobi of this of the village he'll be returning to, that he'll that then he can summon them again. And well, yeah, afterwards something like that, and yeah, and of course now then he'd be somewhat 8. And yeah, and though it can't be the night prior to when he'd be leaving, as he'd be leaving in the morning. Yeah, they'll just say, "Oh, my boy, it's late, you should be asleep," and that guy, "I know, I just can't really get to sleep. I'm, I guess, excited, scared, nervous, anxious, and yeah, that I won't be able to see you for at least 4 years or so. My boy, don't worry, those years will potentially fly by for you. Plus, don't forget, we'll always be in your heart." Good guy. I know, it's just somewhat hard. They just nod. And yeah, they'd talk for a while longer before they'd end up going to sleep. And the morning, you'd go, "You ready, Naruto? Hi." As they would leave, Naruto would be dressed in a, he would have he'd have a scroll in his hand. The scroll would hold his clothes. Yeah, his clothes is also his somewhat night clothes as well. Though his current clothes he'd be wearing mid-calf length black boots, black form-fitting trousers, and a somewhat black top with dark orange, with a just a normal black, just a black top, which he also had a somewhat white and some other coloured tops. His jacket would be the same as his clothing, black with some dark orange stripes. Though his jacket, trousers, boots, and top were all pretty much fireproof. Dragon scales are fireproof, and so his clothes were somewhat made out of that. It was hard, but they'd somewhat managed to do that. And yeah, though he'd walk to the though Ian is somewhat dad and pretty much mum, though adoptive, but still he'd call them his parents. Yeah. And though they'd reached where they'd be leaving and returning to the human world, as he'd tell though when he'd arrive though he'd see the leader of the somewhat dragons, as well as somewhat the kind of the third the somewhat third in command, as well as her son, who was somewhat a somewhat a 9-year-old dragon named Toothless. His best friend, as he'd go over, they were born the same year. Yeah, they'd walk over to his bed as Toothless would walk over to him, being in his somewhat human form. As you'd go, well, I guess today's the day you go back to your somewhat kind. And I would just nod. I should go, well, I'm gonna miss our somewhat night flights we do, and the fun and that time. And I would just nod. I will as well. But hey, it's after all only somewhat 4 years. Before we know it, we'll be back and around, flying above the night sky once more. And yeah, we just somewhat nod. And yeah, as the leader would go, Naruto, remember to make us proud. Wow. Remember to to continue somewhat your training, and to remember that trust is gained, it is earned, it is never truly given. If you blindly give trust to people, then you'll undoubtedly be manipulated. Now to just nod and remember this, Naruto. You're somewhat also someone that, though your actions do also reflect on us as well. So remember that. You nod, and also one more thing, and that would nod, and you'd ask, what's that? To always remember that we're always in your heart, and you're always in ours, and that no matter what, we are proud of you. That would gain that would somewhat smile as you'd kind of give the somewhat lead a small and quick hug as you'd thank him. And yeah, and you'd tell them that you'd miss them, and that when he somewhat gets a chance, he'll potentially and when he gets a chance, he'll summon them. They would nod, and his dad would go, well, you ready? And his dad would turn, yeah, I'm ready. And but Nod would step to the side of his dad, as all these dudes go to, as they'd go, right, there's one more thing, of course I'm forgetting. As the Falcon Command sweats up, and should go here, Naruto. Before you go, you're gonna have to sign this, otherwise you can never summon us. And I'd go, right. And she'd kind of somewhat kneel down as she'd open up a scroll, this scroll being the summoning scroll. As she'd go, now then, I want you to bite your thumb and write your name down. Then dip each one of your fingers in my head, then tap each one of your fingers in the somewhat blood and your thumb, and then place all 5 of them on the scroll under your name. Got that? Hi. Yeah. After biting his thumb and doing that and writing his name, okay. Now that you've done that, though, I should show now to the hand signs. These are the hand signs to summon us, or at least the hand signs for the jutsu called the summoning jutsu. Though for it to work, you A, have to send chakra, and B, you also have to sacrifice a small amount of your blood. So yeah, not that you just go through the hand signs. So that's the hand signs to summon us, and should then show them a different set of hand signs. These are the hand signs to reverse summon to bring you here. So if you're ever out there in the world and you're potentially injured or that, and you're needing to get to safety, you can just do that and reverse summon here. Okay, hi. And finally, it's a two-way summoning contract, meaning that you can summon us and we can summon you. Just keep that in mind. Actually, just nod. And yeah, from there, you then someone go back and yeah, as the then the dragon said, just go, is there anything else we're meant to give him? They would somewhat think for a moment before going, no, that's it. That's it. Yeah. You'd look at Naruto as you'd go, yeah, as Naruto put a hand onto his somewhat adopted father, as his father would then put his hand on the ground, pulsing sending a small amount of chakra into the silk below the small dragon. Though in Konoha, somewhere outside of Konoha, in the same place in which they disappeared 8 years ago, they would be reappearing. They would the small dragon, finally, they're ready. As it, as they would then, the small dragon sent a small amount of chocolate into it as and in puff smoke, Naruto would appear, and that's why I'm going to end it here, guys. So if you have enjoyed this part and this what if and you want part 2, do tell me in the comments down below, guys. And also, guys, have a good day or night, depending on wherever you are and whenever you are watching this. And yeah, remember, tell me in the comments down below if you want part 2. And guys and girls, good bye.